We'll show first the highlights. President Muhammadu Buhari tells Christians to imbibe and live the values of Christ as Christian faithful celebrates Easter yesterday. Right Honorable Gbajabiamila urges Christians to pray for Nigeria. Pastor Enoch Adeboye reveals when God will end coronavirus. 3 pastors arrested for holding Easter services in Warri. Osun State government begins probe of adulterated rice distributed as palliatives. Police arrest 15 suspected cultists in Ogun State. And now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari, in his goodwill message to Christians in celebration of Easter, urged the faithful to imbibe and live the values of Jesus Christ. The president said although this year's Easter comes amid the COVID-19 pandemic, it is an opportunity for all to be hopeful that with intensified prayers backed by personal and collective responsibility, the nation will triumph. He also enjoined all Christians to rekindle their faith in Christ, who overcame persecutions and displayed endurance. Meanwhile, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, has called on all Nigerians, especially Christians, to pray for an end to the coronavirus pandemic afflicting the world during the Easter period. Gbajabiamila made the call in a congratulatory message by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Lanre Lasisi. While congratulating Christians for marking this year's Easter, he also called on them to continue to imbibe the virtues of Jesus Christ as at this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Speaker further urged all Nigerians to be their brother's keeper at this time of national challenge, saying with brotherliness, the country would continue to be one. In the meantime, the World Health Organization Nigerian office has again emphasized that coronavirus is not a death sentence. The United Nations Health Agency, in its official Twitter account, made this known yesterday while commending the country's health workers for the feat. It noted that physical distancing is one of the most effective ways to prevent the spread of COVID-19, adding that avoiding hugging, limiting close contact with people, especially if they are showing flu-like symptoms. As at 9:30 p.m. on Saturday, a total of 318 confirmed cases of the pandemic had been recorded in Nigeria, while 323 cases have been recorded as at Sunday evening, that was yesterday, with 10 deaths. A total of 19 states currently have confirmed cases in Nigeria. Meanwhile, former military President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida IBB yesterday urged Nigerians to benefit from the experiences of China, Taiwan, and other countries in the fight against COVID-19. IBB made this remark while reacting to the latest figures of COVID-19 cases in Nigeria. In a statement signed by IBB and made available to journalists in Minna, the 78-year-old also commended the efforts made by the government at all levels to curb the spread of the disease. It said the political commitment demonstrated by the federal and state governments in efforts to manage the spread of the scourge is commendable across the country. The General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, yesterday urged Christians and Nigerians to be careful and not to be unwise amid the coronavirus pandemic. Speaking at the church's live broadcast yesterday, Adeboye, in his Easter message, said the pandemic would not end until God proves to the world that He is God. He said that although some prophets had said the pandemic would end at the end of last month, God told him that there would be coronavirus until the world goes on a compulsory holiday. In another development, due to the coronavirus pandemic and total lockdown, many churches in Kwara State yesterday conducted online services for Easter. Kwara State government had announced a total lockdown from 6 p.m. on April 10 after 2 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the state. Leadership of Living Faith Church in the state had directed its members to observe the Easter Sunday service at their respective homes. In the alternative, it admonished members to hook up to the headquarters and watch the service online. In his online exhortation in Ilorin, supervising pastor, Pastoral Council of the Cherubim and Seraphim Movement Church Worldwide, Ademola Popola, charged the Christians to emulate virtues of humility, perseverance, and compassion exhibited by Jesus Christ. Popola urged them to continue to live in peace and harmony with believers in other faiths, adding that good neighborliness, selflessness, and patience were among the lessons taught and exemplified by Jesus Christ. The cleric advised Nigerians to reflect on how best to positively impact the lives of their neighbors and family members through love, kindness, and care for one another as the world fights against COVID-19. Meanwhile, 3 pastors were yesterday arrested in Warri for holding church services, one of which reportedly had over 100 congregants in a bid to mark the Easter celebrations. This is coming in spite of the ongoing lockdown across the state to contain the spread of the novel coronavirus. The defaulting churches are St. James Anglican Church, Ojabugbe, or St. Anglican Church, Airport Road, and Christ for the World Mission, Daudu Street, all in Warri. 2 of the arrested clergymen, names withheld, claimed their services were not held to full capacity. It was gathered 20 persons were arrested alongside the pastors. Prior to Sunday, the social media had been flooded with controversies directives attributed to the Delta State government that the stay-at-home order would be relaxed for Christian worshippers to mark the annual celebration. However, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, on his verified Twitter handle on Saturday, re-emphasized the lockdown order when he disclosed that a third person at the state's capital, Asaba, had tested positive for coronavirus. The State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Charles Aniago, had also debunked rumors that reported that the lockdown will be lifted for the Easter celebrations in churches. The Warri Area Command's ACP Muhammad Garba, who led the team of policemen, blamed the pastors for flouting the government order, assuring that they will be charged to court for non-compliance. The State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Fis Inowa, who also confirmed the development, expressed disappointment over the conduct of the church heads for exposing their members to possible danger. The Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, has said the closure of churches was an indication that Nigerians can be law-abiding. ACF made the remark while urging Christians to use the period of Easter and current lockdown to reflect on and imbibe the spirit of patriotism, religious tolerance, and love for one another. This was contained in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Emmanuel Yahweh, and was made available to the journalists in Kaduna. It rejoiced with all Christians for the peaceful Easter celebrations and urged them to emulate Jesus Christ in their daily lives. The ACF also called on all Nigerians, irrespective of their religious beliefs, to continue to be law-abiding and adhere to government directives on social distancing and other measures to contain COVID-19. You are listening to TeamSet Morning News, coming to you from TeamSet 94.1 FM, transmitting from Ile-Ajun, Oke-Agboja, Ijebu-Jesha in the state of Osun, Nigeria. You're welcome back, and now to the rest of the news. Both the federal and Lagos state governments have been advised not to extend the ongoing lockdown in Lagos State and Abuja. Rather, President Muhammadu Buhari and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu should, as a matter of urgency, find ways to relax it. Chief Adesumbo Onitiri, a renowned socio-political activist and critic, gave this advice in a press statement in Lagos. He warned that any extension of the lockdown might lead to aggravated aggression born out of hunger and immeasurable suffering by the masses. Chief Onitiri said what the government should do urgently is to peg the astronomical rise in food prices, provide drugs in government hospitals, and offer free healthcare packages for the people. In the meantime, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) has advised that 37 billion naira budgeted for the renovation of the National Assembly complex should be given to the states to cushion the effect of COVID-19 on the masses. The group made the proposition in a letter written to the Senate President Ahmad Lawan and the Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila. In the letter, Vice Deputy Director Kolawole Oludare, SERAP suggested that each of the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, should be given 1 billion naira. Meanwhile, Osun State Government has commenced an investigation into some adulterated bags of rice shared to residents as palliatives to cushion the effects of lockdown in the state. There was an outcry in some parts of the state following the distribution of 6,020 bags of rice shared by the state government on Wednesday, as residents were complaining bitterly about the quality of rice shared. The Commissioner of Information and Civic Orientation, Mrs. Funke Egbemode, in a statement said the government had received complaints that some of the distributed bags of rice may not have met the expected quality. She expressed dissatisfaction over the complaints received by the government from the citizens that some bags of rice shared were adulterated. Egbemode noted that all the bags of rice were purchased in the state and the government has invited all suppliers to unravel the source of the problem. And away from COVID-19 stories, a senior special advisor on media and publicity to former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Paul Ibe, has blasted the current administration led by President Muhammadu Buhari for granting presidential pardon to a former minister, late Anthony Ehanoru, who, when the regime of General Yakubu Gowon had done the same in 1966. Enaoro, a foremost journalist and nationalist, was popularly called the jailbird for his frequent incarceration and was convicted on 4 different occasions in his lifetime, 3 times under the colonial rule and once in the post-independence Nigeria. His pardon was gazetted on August 12, 1966, after it was signed by the head of state, Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon, on August 2 same year. Gowon later made Enaoro a Commissioner of Information and Labor afterwards. The Esan-born politician was pardoned alongside Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Lateef Kayode, Michael Adedapo, Sunday Ebiotome, Effiong Okon, and some others. Ibe noted that the Buhari government, by this particular action, has committed an egregious gaffe, and this is after a former Minister of Aviation, Femi Fani-Kayode, had made some observation, wondering if Buhari and those working with him have lost touch of history. The Ogun State Police Command has arrested 15 more suspected cultists terrorizing the Ifo area of the state. DSP Abimbola Oyeyemi, police public relations officer in the state, told the journalist in Ota that the police had earlier arrested 19 suspected cultists around Ifo and its environs, adding that the total number of hoodlums apprehended were now 34. It will be recalled that Ogun State had earlier announced the arrest of some hoodlums responsible for criminal attacks. Oyemi said the hoodlums had been hiding under the umbrella of courtesan to steal and terrorize areas like Ifo, Ijako, Ijoko, Agbado, and Joju, among others. The police spokesperson, who appeals to residents not to panic but report any activity of the hoodlums to the appropriate authorities, reiterated the command's commitment to the safety of lives and property in the state. The Defense Headquarters says troops of Operation Adarin Daji on Saturday neutralized over 10 bandits and rescued many kidnapped victims from their hideouts in Zamfara and Sokoto states. The coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, disclosed this in a statement yesterday in Abuja. Enenche said that the troops in a ground and air operation closed up on bandits in a subsidiary operation called Operation Chingaba along Marud and Sadao axis, killing about 10 of them. According to him, at the point of his arrest, his men in ambush opened fire on troops, leading to his death, while his men fled with various degrees of gunshot wounds. To end, Tip said morning news here again are the highlights. President Muhammadu Buhari tells Christians to imbibe and live the values of Christ as Christian faithful celebrates Easter yesterday. Right Honorable Gbajabiamila urges Christians to pray for Nigeria. Pastor Enoch Adeboye reveals when God will end coronavirus. 3 pastors arrested for holding Easter services in Warri. Osun State government begins probe of adulterated rice distributed as palliatives. Police arrest 15 suspected cultists in Ogun State. And that ends Team Said Morning News, read by Olamide Tejuosho and packaged by Afolabi Koka. Good morning and thanks for listening.
If I want to listen to radio, it gotta be Team Said 94.1 FM.